Morning, it's Simon. I'm going to talk to you about Samuel Beckett's Waiting for Godot. Now, I know I talk about coaching, but that's going to come. First of all, let's talk about this. This is held together by a question. And that question is, what are we doing here? Right, that's got nothing to do with your coaching either. I know I've sat there and thought, I've stood there and thought, what am I doing here? But that's not it. That's going to come later. So what are we doing here? Pulls Waiting for Godot along. It's a story because it's about two fellas sat under a tree waiting for someone who just doesn't show up. And so what Beckett does is he holds that question. He doesn't give the answers. So when you come out of that play as an audience member, or if you've read the book like I have, then you're thinking, well, okay, well, what does that mean for me? And so when I'm writing Good Coach, Bad Coach, that's exactly the challenge I've got. I'm thinking, right, okay, well, I need to get my story straight around coaching. I need to figure out what my coaching is for. What even is my story around coaching? So I'm writing and I'm thinking, great, I'm going to tell the audience member, I'm going to tell the reader the answers. And then once I've got the answers, I'm going to be a bit of a legend and happy days. Of course, it doesn't work out like that. You get lost, what is this writing game all about? It's difficult. And only in the end did I figure out that it wasn't about me. It was about the lens through which you look. It was about holding questions for the reader, for you to consider what your coaching is about, the journey that you've been on, and the choices that you need to make to become the coach that you want to be. And I get it. You're thinking, well, I just need tactics, Simon. I just need advice. I just need a framework. I need some feedback frameworks, or I need a practice, a session that makes me look great in front of my players and makes me look like I know what I'm doing, or entertains the kids. I don't. Those questions coming out of a play and scratching your head for a couple of hours and talking to your friends and family, and they've all got different answers, and then you don't know where you are. I don't need that. Give me something that helps me with my coaching. But of course, getting your story straight around coaching, it's not like you can avoid it. It shows up wherever you go. It's not like you can leave that narrative behind in the theatre or on your bedside table because you've read the book and go, right, I'll come back to that. But I'm just going to go and do a session, then I'll come back and I'll answer that question, right? It's your story, it's going with you. So whether that's strategy or whether that's marketing or how you show up in a session, if you don't get your story straight around your coaching, well, like, who's going to do it for you? Well, maybe the loudest person in your field will, right? Maybe the algorithm will. You put this content out, and if it doesn't work, then you're like, okay, well, how do I please this algorithm? How do I get? Well, that's not your coaching practice. That's somebody else's ideas. That's somebody else's agenda. And so when I write Good Coach, Bad Coach, I'm like, okay, what do I do here? Build a practice where you belong. That's the tagline. That's the whole point of this book. It's for you to examine your narrative about the coach that you want to become, not the answers that I potentially could give you after sitting down and trying to figure this whole thing out. It's about holding that question. It's about creating a compelling narrative that gets you to the place that you want to be, that gets you to a point where you feel compelled to act on the coach that you want to be. So you are intentional in your practice design. You're not pulled along by someone else. You're pulled along by your story and how you want to show up. And we don't need more time or qualifications or knowledge, experience. We just need courage. The courage to be honest about the coach that we want to become. And so that's the tagline within this book. That's the point of this book. It's to hold questions for you to answer for yourselves, to consider for yourselves. I can share my stories, of course I do. I share some maxims within the book as well. However, by the end of it, I hope that you are inspired to consider the coach that you want to become, to create the narrative that is compelling enough for you to act. It's here, it's out, I'm very proud of it. I don't want to get too emotional, but it's Good Coach, Bad Coach, build a place where you belong. You can find it down below. Thank you for listening.